Okay, on to the reading 3, music and the emotions. Often reading 3 is about psychology because it can be very difficult. Anyway, let's see what we've got. So we've got a summary here. That's not too bad. Often we can get those marks. Then we have a big problem. We have multiple choice reading 3, super difficult. And matching these two sentences, sometimes easy, sometimes difficult, but if it's reading 3, probably difficult. So, of course, we're going to start with this. What do you do first? Find that. Now we need to find where this comes from. Please notice that it's 2 paragraphs. 99% of the time, that means, maybe even 100% of the time, that means this is from one paragraph, this is from one paragraph. Let's find the Montreal study. So we find it quite quickly, a paper by a team in Montreal. So we're probably going to start somewhere here. But this summary could come from everywhere, except we saw that it's 2 paragraphs. So I'm thinking it will be this paragraph and this paragraph. Let's just see if we can make sure of that. What do we have at the end here? We have that. That might be nice to scan for. Remember, in the summary, they can put them in different order if they want, especially in reading 3. But let's see if we can find that. So we thought we're probably going to be in this paragraph. It's the second one of the 2. This is the first one. This is the second one. And yes, I see it over there. So that makes me feel good. I know where this is coming from. Notice this is at the beginning of this paragraph. In the question, it's kind of at the end of the paragraph, and that tells me they're going to move the order. Alright, so now we know where it's coming from. Let's take a look at these questions quickly. I just want to show you something. Please notice these. They're doing this again. We spoke about this in the previous reading 3. That was the benefits of being bilingual. I don't know if you remember, they had a table, and they also had these words known as and called. Now, I really want to emphasize how important these are. IELTS loves it when the writer introduces a new term, gives a definition of that term. IELTS loves to ask questions about that. These 2 were quite difficult, if you remember, but this one was that answer over there. Also, please notice that was in inverted commas. We'll see that again today. Alright, so generally when IELTS introduces a new term using called, known as, termed, you should definitely highlight that, and you should find its definition. What is language coactivation? It can be difficult to find the definition. In this example, the definition of language coactivation is there. Anyway, let's get back to our reading. So we've got 3 new terms that the writer has introduced, and their definitions will also be important. But let's try and find some of these answers. This one was quite simple. We found reward. If you can scan and scan and scan, I don't see reward anywhere else here. So the answer is somewhere around here, and this is the whole noun phrase, food and other reward stimuli. So reward stimuli is the name of the group. Food is an example of a reward stimulus. So reward is the name of the group, and food is one of the examples. So quite quickly we can find our answer for 31 as food. What's next? The period known as the something. This is quite an interesting word. A period means something about time, a period of time. Maybe favorite moments. But I'm going to look for where the writer gives a name for a period of time. So can you see anything about time, a period of time in this paragraph? And there it is over there. That is the period. the 15 seconds before their favorite moment. So we found that and we found that. But you got to keep on reading. The researchers call, and there is the word for introducing a new term. They call this, they're testing this. What is this? IELTS likes to test that you know what this is, what it is, the anticipatory phase. So this is the 15 seconds. This is the period, and that is what it is called. Again, inverted commas. So lots of clues there that this is our answer. Anticipatory phase. Right. Another one. An area of the brain called the something. So we're looking for an area of the brain. What is a synonym for area? We saw it in the previous reading. I'll see if you can see it. Can you see the synonym for area? And it's there. Region of the brain, area of the brain. What is that region of the brain? Now, this is something that very important about when the writer introduces new terms. You've got to find the new term and you've got to find the definition. For example, this is the new term. Where is the definition of that? That's the definition of the anticipatory phase. So here is the definition. Where is the new term? And that's it over there. So that's our answer. I just want you to notice they didn't use inverted commas. They used a dash here. They give the new term, dash, and then the definition. It's a common structure for introducing a new term and its definition. All right. So even though we don't know what that is, no native speaker knows what that is, but we can see that that is the name of this region. And that is our answer. Great. Not too bad. Let's look at the previous paragraph. The participants had their brain activity monitored, favorite music. It was noted that the music stimulated the brain's neurons to release, and this is very helpful, a substance. Very important word. I hope you know what a substance is. Put it on your vocabulary list. What is the name of the substance? This is quite interesting. 2 parts. 2 is a very nice thing to scan for because there's not many ways that they can paraphrase, and the paraphrases are easy. And this is the name of a feeling. So let's look for the name of a substance in 2 parts of the brain. One thing to notice about this paragraph, all of this is describing the experiment. But here, we're looking for results of the experiment. So you could find that you didn't need to go there. That's describing the experiment. Here is where they start talking about the results. So can you see a synonym for substance? Can you see when he introduces a new term and its definition? Exactly the same way that he did it here. And there it is there. Dopamine, new term, dash, definition. And there is our word for substance. But please notice this structure of introducing a new term and its definition. All right, and there's our word there. That's the name of the substance. Finally, 2 parts of the brain, we want to find that, and something about feeling. So where is the 2 parts of the brain? I see it there, these 2 regions. But please notice, these is a reference pronoun. We should go back both the dorsal and ventral regions of the brain. So there's the 2 parts of the brain. Now we want something about a feeling. The feeling something. Can you see anything about feeling? That's a word to describe feeling. The experience of, the feeling of pleasure. All right, so usually reading 3 summary aren't as easy as this. These were 5 pretty easy marks. I think the reason they did that is because these and these are going to be very, very difficult. But it's a great start. If you can get those 5, you only need a couple more from reading 3. So I just want you to notice the importance of when the writer introduces a new term and gives its definition, IELTS asks questions from that. We started a list in the review video, and I'm going to add to this list. It's quite important, so I'm going to make it number 3. And I'm going to write here new terms and their definitions. And I'll write in brackets, known as, called, termed. And you should look out for those. Those give you a good clue. But remember also, there are other ways of introducing these new terms. As we saw, there are dashes, there are inverted commas. So these are the most common ones though. All right, so new terms and their definitions, please notice them. Let's move on to the next part. Okay, we're going to skip the multiple choice, leave that for last. It's the most difficult. It goes straight to this one over here, this kind of matching statements, matching sentences, question type. Now, the first thing to do, of course, find where they are taking it from. If you remember, we had a similar one like this in a previous reading that we've done. It was that one about agriculture. It was this one, the risks agriculture faces in developing countries. In that one, we needed to scan for the names in the box and then find that information. So this was the scanning information. But in this one, it's different. This is the scanning information, and this is the information that you will try and match up, the information that they paraphrase. So please be aware, it's very important with this question type to identify what your scanning language is first. It can be in the questions, it can be in the box. Usually it's the shorter thing. Also remember, if you've identified it correctly, it will appear in order in the text. Just like these names appeared in order in the text, this information will appear in order in the text. So let's look at what we're going to scan for. Find that. Many studies, Mayer and Beethoven, and earlier theories of music. So those are the four things that you're going to find. Now, we know where this one was, so let's find that immediately. So that's the first one. Maybe it's better to look for this one next, because we can find names and capital letters, Mayer and Beethoven. So if you go through that and scan for Mayer and Beethoven, you will find that it's over here. So that means we know that this next one is before that. Many studies, difficult one to scan for, but let's see if we can see it. We're not going to look in all of this because that's all about the Montreal. It's actually somewhere over here, so can you see it? And there it is over there. And then the last one is earlier theories of music, and it will be somewhere after that, and there it is over there. So again, I'll just say, you didn't scan for what was in the box for this one, you scanned for this one. How do you identify? Probably the shorter piece of information is the one that you scan for most of the time. Right, now, there's something very important I want to point out to you, and that is this word. For this question type, this word is often very important. Let's go back to our previous one that we did, and I don't know if you remember, we looked for those names and we highlighted these phrases, argued that, suggested that, because after the word that, that's where the important information comes. In this reading, we deleted some of these because we weren't looking for participants, we were looking for specific names like that. But the important thing I want to point out is that the information that we were looking for, the information that we needed to match up with all of these sentences came after the word that, there and wherever else. So I just want you to notice the importance of this word that, specifically for this question type. That introduces what they were saying, the important information. In the green here, I've highlighted other ways of doing it. So this is not the only way to do it. Remember, like with any language, there's not only one way. Very often it's with a preposition. There is a preposition there. There is a preposition there. Preposition according to. Held up preposition there. But for now, let's just look at the that's. All right, let's go back to our test. So, what did the Montreal researchers discover? Can you see where it says what they discovered? As I mentioned in the previous question, all of this was just describing the experiment. It's not saying what they discovered. Here is the first thing they discovered, and there is our word. So this would be very important information. With the next one, what is more significant is the finding, and there it is over there. Numerous studies have demonstrated that. Unfortunately, it's not always. I'm looking for it in this paragraph. I don't see it. And this one, they used the preposition. So I'll just make that green. So immediately I can see this one is going to be the most difficult one. It's somewhere in this whole paragraph. This one will be quite easy because the information is just there. While earlier theories said this, Mayer argued this, and we want to know what the earlier theories say. So this is the answer somewhere there. Let's find that one first. Sound can refer to the real world of images and experiences. It's connotative meaning. Images and experiences is probably what I'm looking for. Can you see anything about images and experiences? And there it is over there. Pictures and events. Images and experiences. Emotive music is the sound. And refer to is bring to mind. So that one we could find quite easily. The earlier theory suggested C. Right, next, let's go to this Montreal or the many studies. I'm avoiding this one. The Montreal will probably be a bit more difficult because we've got two things here. Music triggers the dopamine. For this question type, we're not looking for the definition of dopamine. We don't want to look at it. Music triggers the dopamine by the neurons in the dorsal and ventral regions of the brain. And this one, I like this one more, is because they say what is more significant, what is more important. Again, we're not looking at the definition for this question type. We're looking at what the study found. The dopamine neurons were at their most active around 15 seconds. So something about trigger neurons in two regions of the brain, most active in the 15 seconds before the favorite moment. Initial emotional state, no. Decreases predictable, I don't think so. Emotional reaction in our past, maybe. Delays, I don't think so. This is interesting. Neuron activity increases. Let's go back. Key points in a musical piece. Neural activity increases. The neurons were at their most active, and that's the key point. So it was a very difficult paraphrase, yes, I understand, but it had to be one of these two, and there weren't too many options. So most active was probably the key, and then this is the key points. If you didn't get it, skip it, come back later. Maybe we can delete some other ones with the other questions. But yes, so okay, let's skip that. Let's just see if there is another easier one. Many studies have demonstrated that. Numerous studies have demonstrated that dopamine quickly adapt to predictable rewards. Don't stop there, no, though, just a little bit more. If we know what's going to happen next, then we don't get excited. And, again, they made it really difficult. Initial emotional state, no. Decreases if outcomes are predictable, maybe. Past, no. Delays, no. We're looking for something about the neural activity that this said. The neurons adapt. If we know what's going to happen next, we don't get excited. If we know what's going to happen next, it means if we can predict it. Again, a very, very difficult paraphrase. It was actually this. They made it the opposite. In the text it says, if we know what's going to happen next, it's predictable. We don't get excited means the neural activity decreases. Not easy, but yes, this is reading 3, so the paraphrases are going to be very difficult, but I'm quite happy with that one to go with B. Why am I deleting them? Because they didn't say here you can use any option more than once. If they don't say it, it means you can only use it once. So I can delete these. I'm going to go back to this one. I'm quite happy that it was this, the neural activity increases prior to key points, because the last one is going to be the most difficult. Right, what does Mayer's analysis of Beethoven's music show that? And then unfortunately, this is just a very difficult question. There's no one sentence. You really need to read the whole thing, but all the way up to here, they're still describing his experiment. What did he do? And this is where they describe the results that he found. And this is probably the most important part. Beethoven plays the music, but then he holds off, he holds back. That word means he delays. So don't worry if you didn't get this one. Can you see anything about there? It's there. He delays what they expect to hear. Very difficult paraphrase. Really, you're just trying to get about 2 out of 4 here. So don't worry if you didn't get that one. Right. The main thing that I want you to see is how this word that, in this example, it introduced 2 of the answers. But in other question types just like this, it can introduce many of the answers. The other thing is, remember, know what to scan for, sometimes in the box, sometimes in the questions, and those will be in order. All right, let's move on to the multiple choice questions. Okay, let's do these multiple choice. Now, I'll show you immediately how to do multiple choice, especially if you're going for band 6, maybe even band 7. You go B, 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 and you move on and you do something else. Seriously, I'm not joking. Multiple choice is very, very difficult and it takes a lot of time. So don't worry to just fill B, 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 B or C, 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 C and use that time to do another question where you have a better chance of getting the marks. I've seen so many times students spend 5-10 minutes on the multiple choice and then they get 1 out of 5 anyway. Rather just get 1 out of 5 like this and save yourself 5 minutes. But I will do it quickly. If you have time, maybe focus on one of them. See if you can find an easy one. Maybe there will be an easy one. And then just fill in CCC or whatever for the rest of them. If you're going for band 8, 9, yes, you need to focus and really do the multiple choice. So I'm just going to do them really quickly. Very often, please notice in the multiple choice, they will tell you what paragraph you're supposed to be looking at. So that can help you a little bit. I'm just going to show you where the answers for this is. So the answer to this actually was B. I'll show you where the answer is. It's over here, but it's all over the paragraph. They're talking about our bodies, our pulse, our blood pressure, our skin, brain, everything, blood, again, muscles. So this is all about the body, but this is a very important sentence. Please notice there is a contrast marker. This is like a but or a however, once again, introducing the important information there. Touch us deeply. And that was this. Deeply is how intense and physical responses is all the things about the body. So that's why that was B. Right. What view does the writer express in the second paragraph? The answer to that just came from this. He says that it was an important step, this paper, in revealing the precise underpinnings of music. They do try and trick you there. I know there is an although there. It's quite possible. This is also very important information. It comes after the although. But here they say rather straightforward. Here they say too straightforward, too simplistic, too easy. Straightforward means easy. Rather and too are very different. Please remember, too has got negative connotations most of the time. I ate too much, so I don't feel good. I ate too much, it's not good. Rather just means quite. So rather and too are very different. So it's not that one. He just says that he mentions the word precise, and that's what you needed to focus on. It produced some precise data, precise information, and they say the precise underpinnings. Very difficult language. That's why, nobody knows what this word is. That's why I don't have time for multiple choice. That is paragraph C. What does he find interesting? For this one, please notice how important this language was. They chose 3 questions now just from this sentence over here. And this sentence was introduced by the words, what is rather more significant, what is very important. So the writer is telling you, I think this is very important. This whole sentence is very important, and IELTS asked 3 questions from there. So again, they focused on this, that around 15 seconds, the neurons were most active. And it was this one, it's 15 seconds, the neural were most active. So that was A. Why does he refer, this is a super difficult one, why does he refer to Mayer's work on music and emotion? Why does he introduce this topic over here? It goes back all the way to there. Why are they so active? One way to answer the question, and then to demonstrate this psychological principle. So he is doing this to support the theories or the results that came in the Montreal study. Super difficult. This is why multiple choice is so difficult. Very often it's not from one sentence, it's from 3 paragraphs you need to understand. So it's to offer support for the findings of the Montreal study. Last one, what causes the listener's emotional response? That'll be in the last paragraph. Be careful of this. It's not this sentence. It's this one. Mayer argued that. Again, this word that. Mayer argued that the emotions we find in music come from the music itself. And that is the internal structure of the music. So that one is D. All right, so that's multiple choice. Don't let multiple choice eat your time. You're probably going to guess the wrong one anyway. It's in reading 3. Okay, reading 1, do the multiple choice. But reading 3, you can spend your time better on other things. Great, that's the end of that test.